She was bleeding in the snow when the human found her. Not movie bleeding, not a small scratch, real blood, dark and slow, freezing the moment it touched the ground. Her squad was gone. Her beacon was smashed. Her ship was a crater of broken metal. And the sky above her was full of stars that did not care. She had been taught that humans were dangerous. Too emotional. Too reckless. Too quick to fight. So when she heard footsteps, her first thought was not rescue. It was fear. Captain Sorin Vexer of the Kethri Dominion tried to lift her pulse blade. Her hand shook. Her armor's power core had died mid-crash. The blade flickered once and went dark like a dying firefly. Footsteps came closer, slow, careful, not the heavy stomp of a predator. A narrow beam of light swept across the snow and stopped at the wreckage. The human stood there for a moment, just staring. He was wrapped in a thick jacket, face half covered by a scarf, breath rising in white clouds. A rifle hung from his shoulder, but his hand stayed open. Not aiming. Not threatening. Sorin forced her translator to activate. The device chirped weakly, trying to catch language patterns through wind and pain. The human crouched down, close enough that Sorin could see his eyes, tired, alert, and strangely calm. He spoke softly, like talking to an injured animal. "Hey. Easy. I'm not here to hurt you." The translator crackled, then pushed the meaning into Sorin's mind. Not here to hurt. She tried to speak. A cough broke out instead. Her chest burned. Something was cracked inside her. The human's gaze dropped to the blood on the snow. "Oh man," he whispered. "You're in bad shape." Sorin's mind raced. If this human called his military, she would become a specimen. If he ran, she would freeze. If he attacked, she was finished. She made a choice that felt like swallowing fire. "Help, please." The word was not Kethri. It came out in the human language, rough and broken. The human blinked, surprised. Then he nodded once, like he had already decided long ago what kind of man he would be. "Okay," he said. "Okay. We're gonna get you out of here." His name was Noah Rains, a winter search and rescue volunteer in Alaska. He had pulled lost hikers off mountains, found kids trapped in blizzards, and once carried a wounded dog 12 miles through snow. But he had never carried an alien. He slid his pack off his shoulders and dug out a thermal blanket, gloves, and a small medical kit. He worked with the quiet speed of someone who knows panic wastes time. Sorin watched his hands. Human hands. Clumsy compared to Kethri precision, yet steady. Gentle. He inspected the side of her armor where the plating had split. There was a jagged tear, and under it, her skin pulsed with faint biolight, now dimming. Noah swallowed hard. "Right," he muttered. "We're gonna pretend I totally know what I'm doing." He cut away a strip of cloth from his scarf and pressed it against the wound with careful pressure. The heat of his fingers was shocking. Warm. Real. Sorin trembled. "That will not be enough," she warned. "I am Kethri. We do not heal like you." Noah gave a short, humorless laugh. "Good," he said. "Because you're stuck with the human method today, stubbornness." He slid the blanket under her, lifted her slowly, and pulled her onto a small sled he used for rescues. The movement sent pain through Sorin like lightning. She cried out. Noah froze instantly. "Sorry," he said, voice tight. "I know. I'm sorry." He adjusted the sled so the pressure shifted away from her ribs. Then he started dragging her across the snow, step by step, into the wind. Behind them, the crater of her ship smoked in the distance. And far above, in cold orbit, a different kind of ship watched Earth's surface. Not a rescue ship. A hunter ship. Noah's cabin was small but strong, built to survive harsh winters. A generator hummed. A single lamp glowed. The smell of coffee and wood smoke filled the air. He carried Sorin inside and laid her on a table. He did not stare at her body like a trophy. He treated her like a patient. Sorin's vision blurred. Her translator strained to keep up. Noah's radio crackled with local emergency chatter, but he turned it off. Then he did something that surprised Sorin even more than the rescue. He spoke to her as if she were already human enough to understand pain. "I don't know who you are," he said, "or what you were doing out there. But I do know one thing." He looked her in the eyes. "You're not dying in my snow." Sorin tried to smile, but it came out as a weak twitch. Her people had called humans violent. But this human was dangerous in a different way. He cared. And caring, she realized, could be stronger than weapons. Outside, the wind howled. Somewhere in the dark sky, the hunters began their descent. The first sign was the silence. No birds. No insects. No distant animal cries. The forest outside Noah's cabin went still, like the whole world was holding its breath. Sorin's eyes snapped open. Her biolight veins pulsed faster. "They are here," she whispered. Noah, tightening a bandage on her side, paused. "Who?" he asked. Sorin's throat tightened with fear she hated. "The Vraks," she said. "They collect survivors. They sell them. They will take me." Noah stared, then looked toward the window. A low hum vibrated through the air. Not wind. Not thunder. Something mechanical. The cabin lights flickered. Noah moved fast. He turned off the lamp and pulled blackout curtains across the windows. "Okay," he said. "We're in a horror movie now." Sorin's translator caught his tone, joking to cover fear. "That will not save you," she said. "They have scanners. They will burn the ground." Noah exhaled slowly. "Then we don't let them scan what they want." He opened a storage chest. Inside were tools, wires, old batteries, and a box labeled "Fireworks. Do not use indoors." Sorin blinked. "What is that?" she asked. Noah grinned without humor. "Human diplomacy," he said. He grabbed a roll of aluminum foil, a thick wool blanket, and a camping top. He began layering materials over the cabin's interior walls, like he was building a weird nest. Sorin watched, confused. "Why?" she asked. Noah tapped the foil. "Old trick. Makes heat signatures messy. Also messes with some basic scans." He shrugged. "Might not work on alien tech, but it'll annoy it." Outside, blue light swept between trees. The hum got louder. Then a voice, metallic, flat, echoed through the night. "Earth organism. Surrender the Ketheri target." Noah froze. He glanced at Sorin. "Yeah," he whispered. "They definitely mean you." Sorin's claws dug into the table. "Leave," she urged. "You still can." Noah looked at her like she had asked him to stop being himself. "I pulled you out of a crater," he said quietly. "I'm not handing you over now." He grabbed his hunting rifle. Sorin almost laughed at the idea. A rifle against Vrak's plasma. But Noah wasn't planning to win with bullets. He was planning to win with the one thing humans always used when they were outmatched. A plan that looked stupid, until it worked. Noah opened the back door and stepped into the snow, holding a flashlight high. "Hey!" he shouted into the darkness. "You want her? Come get her." Sorin's heart dropped. He was drawing them in. Blue beams locked onto Noah instantly. Shadows moved. Tall figures emerged between trees. 3 Vrax hunters in sleek armor, masks shaped like sharp animal skulls. Their weapons glowed. Noah kept walking backward, leading them away from the cabin. Sorin's hands clenched. He was sacrificing himself. Then Noah stepped exactly where he wanted. A thin wire snapped under his boot. Nothing happened for half a second. Then the snow erupted. A string of buried fireworks blasted upward, bright red and white explosions, loud enough to shake the trees. Smoke filled the air. Light flashed in chaotic patterns. The Vraks recoiled, scanners confused by heat, movement, and sudden bursts. Noah dove behind a tree, rolled, and disappeared into the smoke. The Vraks fired plasma into the snow. But Noah was already elsewhere. He had placed reflectors, shiny foil panels, behind trees, bouncing their scanning beams in wrong directions. Their targeting systems hesitated. Their weapons delayed. Their formation broke. Sorin watched through the cabin window, stunned. He was turning the forest into a maze. A human maze. The Vraks advanced again. Noah triggered the next trap, a rope line that dropped a pile of frozen logs from a ridge. The logs slammed into the lead hunter, knocking it into a snowbank. Noah ran, shouting in the dark, making them chase him. He wasn't faster than them. He was simply better at thinking like the land. But the Vraks were not alone. High above, their ship adjusted orbit. It locked onto the cabin. A red targeting point appeared on its underside. Sorin's blood turned cold. "They will fire," she whispered. The cabin shook as something powered up in the sky. Noah sprinted back toward the cabin, breath ripping in his chest. "Get up," he hissed to Sorin, throwing open the door. "We move. Now." Sorin tried. Her legs trembled. Pain ripped through her ribs. Noah grabbed her, lifting her as if she weighed nothing. He carried her into the snow and toward a narrow ravine behind the cabin. A plasma beam struck the cabin. Wood exploded into fire. The heat punched the air like a giant fist. Noah didn't look back. He ran into the ravine, sliding down into darkness. Behind them, the Vraks screamed commands and fired blindly. In the darkness of the ravine, Sorin clutched Noah's jacket and whispered something she never thought she would say. "Human, why?" Noah's voice came out raw. "Because," he said, "people don't get left behind. Not on my watch." And in that moment, the wounded alien realized something terrifying for the rest of the galaxy. Humans did not ask permission to be heroes. They hid beneath the ravine for hours. Above them, the Vraks hunted like wolves with machines for brains. Drones buzzed. Lights scanned. The snow glowed with alien beams. Noah held a hand over Sorin's mouth when she coughed. He mouthed words. Slow. Quiet. Sorin's mind raced. Noah's cabin was destroyed. His home was ash. His tools were gone. And still he stayed. That kind of stubbornness was rare even among warrior species. At dawn, when the sky turned grey, the Vrak ship lowered its drones again. Sorin whispered, "We cannot win." Noah looked at her carefully. "You ever hear the humans saying if you can't beat them, make them chase a ghost?" he asked. Sorin blinked. "No." Noah smiled slightly. "Good," he said. "Because that's what we're doing." He pulled out a small device from his pocket, one of Sorin's broken ship parts he had taken earlier. A cracked beacon core. Sorin's eyes widened. "That is Dominion tech." "Yeah," Noah said. "And I've been thinking." He opened the casing with a knife and rewired it using thin copper from a flashlight and battery strips from his radio. Sorin watched, shocked. He should not understand alien circuits. But he wasn't understanding them the way a scientist would. He was treating them like a puzzle. Like something that could be bullied into working. Humans were good at that. Noah finally snapped the casing shut. "What did you do?" Sorin asked. Noah looked up at the sky where the Vrak's ship hovered like a dark god. "I made them a better target," he said. He strapped the beacon core to a small homemade drone, built from parts he had in his rescue pack. A cheap frame, tiny motors, taped wings. Sorin stared. That drone looked like a toy. Noah pointed at the smoke from his burned cabin. "Vraks think like collectors," he said. "They follow signals. They don't understand sacrifice. They don't understand traps that look like mercy." He lifted the drone. "Humans do," he whispered. Noah launched it. The drone rose above the ravine, buzzing loudly like an angry insect. It carried Sorin's beacon core, now pulsing with a perfect Kethri distress pattern. The Vrak's ship reacted instantly. It pivoted. Drones redirected. Hunters moved, chasing the signal like hungry dogs. The drone flew toward a frozen lake 2 miles away. Noah had scouted it years ago. Sorin stared at him. "You planned this?" Noah shook his head. "No," he admitted. "I improvised it. That's the human trick I never told you." Sorin's chest tightened with something she did not recognize at first. Pride. Not in herself. In him. They reached the lake's edge and crawled into a crack in the ice where Noah had once built an emergency shelter. Under the ice, the world was quiet and blue. Above them, the drone hovered over the lake. The wrack's ship locked onto it. A plasma beam fired. The ice exploded. Water surged upward like a monster waking up. The drone vanished. So did the signal. The wrack's ship dipped lower, scanning harder. It did not see the hidden crack where Noah and Sorin waited beneath the ice shelf. The ship's weight and heat weakened the frozen surface. Cracks spider-webbed across the lake. Sorin realized what Noah had done. He had lured a space hunter ship into trusting ice. That was madness. That was genius. A final crack roared like thunder. The wrack's ship tilted. Then the ice broke. The massive vessel plunged into the freezing water, systems shorting, engines choking, blue sparks exploding across its hull. Wrack's hunters screamed as their ship sank. Noah held his breath, listening to the chaos above. Then, silence. Only water and wind remained. Noah finally exhaled, shaking. Sorin stared at him, eyes wide with disbelief. "You defeated them," she whispered. Noah's voice came out hoarse. "We didn't defeat them," he said. "We taught them a lesson." Sorin's translator caught the meaning, and her biolite veins flared softly. "What lesson?" she asked. Noah looked out at the broken lake, then up toward the sky. "That Earth is not empty," he said. "And humans don't fight fair when we're protecting someone." Sorin swallowed. Her people had judged humans from a distance. Now she understood the truth. Humans were not strong because they had better weapons. Humans were strong because they refused to accept the ending. And somewhere far away, in the quiet halls of alien councils, a new report would soon spread like fire. The humans have begun to interfere. Sorin looked at Noah, and for the first time, she believed Earth might survive what was coming next. Because one human had already proven something the galaxy never expected. When humans find someone wounded and alone, they don't just rescue them. They rewrite the entire story.